So, for your convenience, these in the central column of your course here, topic 6 is highlighted, and then every week that's active, it will be highlighted blue. You can see that the our previous and the induced seismicity, earthquakes, Bighorn Rift, the crack, Yellowstone, alert Yellowstone, and that's the whole idea of the larger plume of magma that is even bigger than the subduction aspect, so that it's coming from a deeper portion of the mantle, deeper in the earth. So it's a quit that. Okay, so Ring of Fire here. That's the documentary that we just looked at. So you can dial that up on your own if you wanted to review. Although I think that you got the meat out of that one, that the subduction, and that the Ring of Fire forms more violent eruptions, taller volcanoes.
Earth, a unique planet, restless and dynamic.
It's available for you here if you need to. And another aspect of that volcanism was the Mount St. Helens eruption and the pyroclastic flow associated with that. But we currently have some good stuff happening. An earthquake swarm. Earthquake swarm. San Andreas Fault, check this out.
This is Dabu 7, an update to the earthquake swarm that has hit the Salton Sea. And for most that don't realize what's happening here, this does sit on the San Andreas fault line. And we've been seeing ongoing activity in this area. Now, we don't have a visual showing anything happening on the water itself, like any bubbles coming up, a release of any gases. What we have seen is a massive swarm. This swarm has grown to over 200 earthquakes that have been recorded in the Salton Sea. Now, the 200 that they're talking about in this article specifically happened within a 24-hour period. Anything that happened before and after is not listed here, so it is over 200 quakes at this point. And they have been very shallow. Now, the strongest was a 4.3, which is a decent quake. And although most of these were small, they had at least 3 of a magnitude 4 or greater, and 9 of at least a magnitude 3 or greater. Now, it's not uncommon to see some activity around here, some swarms, but to see an ongoing swarm sitting here on the notorious San Andreas fault line is something to pay attention to. You know, earthquakes that hit here could send anything else into motion. They could trigger a larger quake. And the way that these faults crisscross down through here, and especially the way the San Andreas is, and overdue at that, it's something to just pay attention to. If you look here, southeast of Coachella, Mecca, Southern California, you will see here in the Salton Sea that this swarm continues.
If you remember, that's where the mud pots that we looked at in a previous, one of our previous lectures, the mud pots. So, you know, there's definitely some geothermal close to the surface here. So the tectonics, there's stuff, a lot going on right there.
What's causing it? Yet to be seen. But I just wanted to update here on this odd quake swarm that's happening in the Salton Sea right here on the San Andreas Fault. Is it awakening? Is it moving? Guess only time will tell. As far as big quakes globally, we haven't seen any massive quakes here recently. But as far as odd quake activity, that looks to be the strangest as of right now. Now, if you guys see any strange activity out there, let me know. Dabu7.
Here we go. But here's where the tools that you should have at your disposal. Not only can you stay abreast of what's going on in the world, unless the government doesn't allow you to see the seismology, which is what's happening in Yellowstone right now. And that had a lot to do with the lecture that I gave you in topic 5, was the fact that the results are not available to the general public. But people that work and live there have access and have published some of these kind of conspiracy type videos. And so if you take your Google Earth tool that you have at your disposal, and we start to look, and kind of gives you a real-time or more current view of what's happening. There's that subductive zone, and you see that when we looked at these different tectonic plate interfaces here, we had the transformal oceanic, and in the red was a transformal. I'm pretty sure. Let's see, where's that at? Oceanic. I can't see the other word in there, but it's transformal boundaries where it's sliding side by side. And if we take a closer look down here at San Andreas, you can see that's what's happening. And it comes on down, it comes out the Gulf of California. So let's take a look and see what kind of earthquakes they're having there. See, the Iris earthquake is, I think, more accurate. So we take a look at the satellite view, and you can see that if we zoom to the region, so we're taking a look at some of these quakes here. 10-4, 15-19, and that's 2.6 down in Baja, California. Let's get a little closer. I'm kind of interested to see, so all that stuff's happening within the last 24 hours. And you look up here around San Francisco. Okay, that was a couple of days ago. Take a look at this, get a larger overview. But you can see where 3.2, I don't see the 4-point earthquakes that he was talking about. But the earthquake swarm activity, now there's a couple different thoughts about that. The swarm is actually a good thing because it's releasing the energy rather than building up, and then having a catastrophic release. So that it's better to have a smaller, more sequential release of the tectonic, the vibrations, rather than having one great big kapowie. So up here in Yellowstone, that's 927. We already looked at that one, didn't we? So I don't see any new activity in our area up here, 928. Out in Wyoming, 927. So this is probably the newest one right here. Get it to light up. Get a little closer to it. But you can see some of these are pretty close to the surface. This one on 927, it's only a 1/7 of a mile. No, a kilometer, I mean. And whereas a lot of these are down there a ways, but that one right there has the potential to do some damage when you start looking at how close it is to the surface. And then you look at the number. There's not really, they're not swarming here. There's a couple per day, but you're not seeing 200 or 300 earthquakes in a short duration like you're seeing down in California. Look at some of these, especially around the Salton Sea, like he was talking about. 10-2, 928, 10-3. Let's take a look at that one. 6.4 on the Richter scale, and you see right here 927, 10-1, 10-4. 6 kilometers deep, 2.3 on the Richter scale. So I don't see the true swarming that, and we also are now we're capable of seeing the induced seismology that we talked about in the geyser basin due to the seismic, or the drilling actually, the and that they're drilling for oil there, and then the fracking for the geothermal also, and then the reinjection of the fluids at depth are causing these seismically induced episodes where they're having earthquakes, some of them 4 point plus on the Richter scale, so they can control what their injection rates are as far as reinjection into the aquifer, or into the below the aquifer, into the fracted out reservoirs. So you start to think about the seismically induced events. We start taking a look down here in Oklahoma. See what we got. 10-4 today, huh? What we got here? 10-4. A lot going on down there. Let's see what's going on with these. So 2.3, nothing. 3.5 on the Richter scale. Whoa, 9-10, 38 universal time. Yeah, right here you see the latitude, pretty close to that's what that cluster's all about down there. Take a look at the map in association with that. And this is due to fracking, huh? Or the replenishment of fluids from oil, fracking for oil and oil production. So if you haven't looked at that lecture from last week, topic 5, take a look at induced seismicity, or how they actually control the reinsertion of fluids to prevent these events, which can be catastrophic. They can shake foundations, they can break people's houses. So this is geothermal on a very large scale. We're going to take a look now at geothermal energy as it applies to you personally at the foundation of your home where you live. Just one more quick point of interest here, as long as we're talking about the San Andreas Fault. Can't neglect this little goodie here. See where we're getting a little bit of movement, huh? I'm just guessing that this is out towards Boulder Dam. I'm not sure. And you see the transmission lines here. That's why I'm thinking it was either that or these are carrying the power from some of the geothermal applications in the area by the Salton Sea that we've looked at in week topic 3. this is the issue with the government, trying to diminish the potential for mass hysteria and mass exodus. So yeah, there's a lot of different conspiracy theories as far as why maybe they're keeping seismic information from the general public. So the United States Geological Service, a lot of their readouts now are blacked out, especially around Yellowstone. So it's just got to kind of look and keep your head up, keep your eyes open, and just observe the history. So you could see there the transverse laterals that come off the main strand here. So the main course of the San Andreas transformal fault, and then as it moves beside one another, you can actually see how some of this slopes off. You see how you can see that this appears to be moving north and this appears to be moving south on this side, by the way these are warped off. Now a lot of that might have to do with the different materials that have been scraped up there or piled up and how they're eroding due to the water, but there's going to be some shapes associated with the tectonic interface and the movement on either side of this. It'd be good to have a couple of arrows telling us which way these things are going. But then you get these transverse or stress fractures. You see them coming on out here. Kind of looks like the crack, doesn't it? Although it's a different, it's a crack in the ground, yeah, but it doesn't show the same stress that you see with the potential for volcanic uplifting or bulging. This is a transformal. Let's bring it home now, shall we?
It's a calm July afternoon in America's Pacific Northwest. But a surprising storm is brewing, invisible to the naked eye. Deep within the Earth, titanic forces are building towards a catastrophe. A mega quake.
It's going to blow people's minds.
It will be a disaster, much larger than Katrina.
You're talking about something that's tens of thousands of times the size of any earthquake we've seen.
The race is on to predict when it will hit.
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened next week.
And just how powerful the wave of destruction will be. Megaquakes